All right, let's be honest. Trying to lose weight is never easy, and having long-term success is even harder. Well, one author says there is one thing that creates obstacles for us, and he knows how to overcome it. David Zappasodi is here with the answer. David, thank you so much for coming in.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
So I'm sure everyone is all ears as to what is this answer that you have found and kind of overcoming it.
Absolutely. You know, the bottom line is that about $60 billion is spent every year on weight loss, and less than 3% of people actually have long-term success. And it's a big problem. In my over 20 years of experience in the industry, what I've come to realize is that the real problem stems from something that's so simple that we don't see it, but is so powerful that it creates all the complexity that we deal with. And it has to do with the famous saying that it's best to focus on the journey rather than the destination. So let me give you an example of what I mean. When we set a weight loss goal, we typically look at that goal as a destination, as a future place that we need to get to. And because we see it that way, we then see our program, our weight loss program, as a vehicle that's meant to take us to that future destination. And that's pretty normal, right? I mean, it's how most people look at it. But there's a big problem with that. And the reason why is because when we look at the goal as something that's separated from us, it creates a disconnect, projects the goal into the future, and it makes now feel unfulfilling because we feel like we need to get to this future place before we can then be happy. And when now becomes unfulfilling, that's the key to why we have all these problems. Because it's like Sir Isaac Newton's law that an object in motion tends to stay in motion. Once we start with an initial perception that our goal is something that's in the future, which makes now feel unfulfilling, this causes us to then look for solutions, follow programs, and take actions all in ways that make sure that now continues to stay unfulfilling. This is why most people, like when they start on a nutrition program, the first thing they think of in the area where they give the most energy to is what they need to cut out of their diet. Caloric restriction, portion control. Same thing with exercise. Most people that are exercising in the gym, I see so many people that are bored out of their mind and miserable, or they're doing it more out of a sense of obligation than a sense of inspiration. And the reason that we have this approach in both of these areas isn't because they're effective, because they're not. We have less than a 3% success rate. The reason that we use those approaches, or we just assume they're the right way to go about it, is because it's familiar to us. And the reason it's familiar is subconsciously, it reinforces those feelings that come about when we set that pattern in motion that makes sure that now continues to feel unfulfilling.
It almost feels like I am almost standing in my own way to get to a happy place. And I know you have kind of like 3 Ps, something that makes it very easy for us to remember how to kind of tackle this, I guess.
Yeah. So the first one is perception. So that's all about our perspective. Yeah. It's all about looking at our goal in a different way. So instead of seeing our goal as a place that we need to get to in the future that we achieve, it's about cultivating it in the present. Instead of trying to get to something we don't have, we're making efforts to open and expand what we already do have. So that's the first one. The second is, excuse me, purpose. And purpose is about the way that we build purpose into our goal is to make it bigger than ourselves. So for example, if someone wants to lose weight and they want to look good at the beach, and that's their motivation, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if that also can be about being an example for your kids, or having a positive, beneficial outcome on somebody else, influence on somebody else, it always makes the goal more powerful for us. Anyone that I've ever seen have long-term success was able to include other people in the reason for having their goal. The third one is power. And basically what that means is that perspective and purpose are not enough. It's not enough to just change the way that we're looking at things. We need to also set up strategies in our own life that reinforce that perspective, that reinforce the power, the purpose that we're building into our goal. So that's what my book, basically, A Movable Heart, Unstoppable Mind, the entire book is about how to do all those things.
And these are things that we can all do, no matter what path you're on, where you're at in life. These are all ideas and things that we can implement no matter what our situation is. So this book is going to be perfect for a lot of people to make that an uneven statistic we were talking about be more on our side. So I'm going to remind them how they can get their hands on the book. But David, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. To get more information on the book, Immovable Heart, Unstoppable Mind, or anything else that we discussed today, you can visit empoweredhealthnow.com.